So welcome. So I'm really excited to kind of continue over the month of July in our exploration of the four Brahma Viharas, which is kind of an idea from Buddhism or a teaching from Buddhism of the kind of four divine abodes, or how I like to think about them as like the four beneficial mind states. And these include loving kindness and compassion, which we practiced over the last 2 months, and sympathetic joy or joy, which we'll be practicing this month, and equanimity, which is the fourth Brahma Vihara. And so I love practicing joy. I love the other three Brahma Viharas as well, but I think this one is particularly special, especially coming off of kind of our celebratory season here in the US, and then also with I believe Canada Day just took place. Was it Canada Day?
Yeah, a few days earlier.
Yeah. So to sort of ride on the fireworks from the season, but really apply it in a way that's a little bit more grounded in our own lives. And so there's a kind of passage that I love for just getting a sense of what mudita or sympathetic joy is, from a book called The Heart of the Buddha's Teaching by Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Buddhist teacher from Vietnam, who was also integral in terms of raising awareness of the effects of the US invasion in Vietnam, and was integral, worked with Martin Luther King Jr. and was even nominated by Martin Luther King for the Nobel Peace Prize in the 1960s. But he has a passage from this book, which for me is sort of the definition of sympathetic joy or mudita. And he says, when we have a toothache, we know that not having a toothache is happiness. But later, when we don't have a toothache, we don't treasure our non-toothache. Practicing mindfulness helps us to learn to appreciate the well-being that is already there. With mindfulness, we treasure our happiness and can make it last longer. The cessation of suffering, well-being, is available if you know how to enjoy the precious jewels you already have. You have eyes that can see, lungs that can breathe, legs that can walk, and lips that can smile. When you're suffering, look deeply at your situation and find the conditions for happiness that are already there, already available. And so that's what we're going to be kind of practicing and exploring together on Tuesday of this week, but for all of the remaining Thursdays over the month of July, is this quality of the well-being that's already there. And that's just a matter of kind of tapping into. And so I know for myself, kind of over the course of my life with type 1 diabetes over the last 17 years, this has been a practice for me, because often it's not the things that are just kind of humming along that have my attention or have my appreciation. It's usually like, last night driving home, like my insulin pump beeping because I needed to change the battery, my CGM beeping because my blood sugar was going low, or my itchy infusion set spot, all of the little things that, like the niggly things that tend to grab at the mind. And so this practice of sympathetic joy is similar, although we're making a conscious choice to direct our attention to the things in our life that are already working well, that are a source of, or that can be a source of joy, contentment, satisfaction, and fulfillment. And we practice this both for ourselves and with our own lives, and also for others. So cultivating joy that comes from the happiness that others experience, or the well-being that others experience in their own lives. And so one of the best ways that I know how to practice mudita is through the practice of gratitude and generating gratefulness for the things that are already well in our lives. And so that's what we're going to be working with tonight. And so for tonight's practice, it's going to be a little bit different in that we'll be sort of as part of this practice generating a list, if you will, of things that we're grateful for. And I wanted to give you some options for how you can do this before we get started. And one is you can just simply do this in your own mind. So call to mind different objects of gratitude. You could also count on your fingers. So you can count, 10 things that you're grateful for on each finger if you're more of a tactile person. Or if you find a lot of benefit in writing or journaling, you could also grab a pen and paper and write the things that you're grateful for during the practice. So it's up to you. If there's one way that you tend to lean towards and you feel like you need some freshness, you could also try an alternative option for tonight. So just taking a moment kind of before you settle into your posture to decide like, okay, what is it that feels right for me tonight in terms of bringing to mind gratefulness. So whether it's in your mind, on your fingertips, or with pen and paper. All right, excellent. And so with that, I invite you to find a position in which you can feel a sense of ease, but also wakefulness for the next 15 minutes or so. Really just taking a moment to check in with your body and ask yourself, what do I need for tonight's practice? What would be of support? Maybe it's taking a few moments to do some stretching or gentle movement. Maybe grabbing an extra pillow. Maybe lying down on the floor if that would feel supportive. Maybe taking a sip of water if your throat is dry. Once you found your posture, I invite you to gently soften your gaze away from the screen or close your eyes if that feels good. And just taking a moment to arrive here. If you like, perhaps taking a few deep, slow inhales. And then a few long exhales. If you like, perhaps even letting the exhale come from your open mouth. If you like, perhaps even humming or sighing. And then allowing your breath to flow naturally. And perhaps feeling into the quality of support from the chair or the ground underneath you. Feeling into the body as it's held by the chair or the ground. allowing the weight of the body to soften into the points of contact which it has with that chair ground. Trusting that it's got you, that it will support you. That you're safe. And perhaps noticing the place in the body in which the breath is most prominent. Perhaps it's the tip of the nose, sense of coolness with each inhale and warmth with each exhale. Perhaps it's the back of the throat or the gentle rise and fall of your belly. Sing with the breath, with each inhale and each exhale. Not needing them to be any different than the way they are, just in this moment. It's riding the gentle waves of each inhale and each exhale. Letting them wash over you. If you notice your mind beginning to wander, perhaps noting if there's a thought or if there's a particular emotion or sensation that's drawing your attention away from the breath, seeing if you can give it a name before coming back to the breath. Perhaps itchy or busy or simply thinking. Knowing that it's the nature of the mind to wonder. And just gently bringing your attention back to your breathing. Now, perhaps noticing if there's an aspect of your experience in this moment that's not pulling at your attention, an aspect that normally wouldn't capture your attention at all because it simply is. Could be, for instance, the fact that the ground isn't moving underneath you. It could be the temperature in your room, which is just right. It could be the sensation of clothing against your skin that just feels neutral, not extra comfortable, not extra uncomfortable, just is. And taking a moment to connect with the experience of this aspect of your body, mind, or environment that are working well without you needing to think about it or do anything. Perhaps appreciating the many moments throughout your life in which this aspect was present without you even being aware. Now, bringing to mind 10 small or insignificant things, things you might usually overlook, that bring a sense of gratefulness to your heart. It could even be things in the room right around you. For example, the sturdy chair underneath you, the clean air, warm or cold water, or a genuine smile. And if you like, you can call these 10 things to your mind's eye, or you can count them on your fingertips one by one, or you can write them down on a piece of paper. And this practice is not so much about generating or contriving a deep feeling of gratitude, but more just a practice of holding the intention to notice the things that we're grateful for. Imagining as you call each of these objects of your gratitude to mind, seeing if you can really visualize them, get a felt sense of what they're like and how they impact your day-to-day life. A few more minutes to, a few more moments to bring forth these 10 seemingly small, seemingly insignificant things. Things that make you feel grateful, that make a difference in your life, whether you're aware of it or not from moment to moment. And if you've already finished your list of 10, perhaps taking a moment to notice if your gratitude list also included any personal qualities. Qualities you have that have made a positive difference in your life or the lives of other people. Perhaps recognizing that our good qualities did not arise out of thin air or exclusively by our personal efforts, but were formed with the help of many other people, as well as by the conditions in our lives. All of which were out of our control, but helped us, allowed us to develop these positive qualities that can be of support not only to ourselves, but to others. Now, choosing just one of those items from your gratitude list to focus on. Holding it in your mind's eye. Envisioning the ways in which this aspect of your life or this quality has been of support to your well-being, to your happiness, to your contentment in life, to making your life just a little bit easier. Savoring the ways in which this object of gratitude makes you feel. Appreciating the ease, however small, it's brought to your life. Now, perhaps envisioning each of the individual people or the circumstances that made it possible for this object of gratitude to be a part of your life. Imagining the hands of the people, if it's a physical object that brought that object of gratitude into your life or made it possible for it to be a part of your life. If it's a quality, perhaps bringing to mind all of the people that helped to shape or form that quality in you or in another person. Imagining this vast, expansive web of connection, of conditions, of happenstance that had to arise in order for just this thing to be a part of your life, to enrich your life. For you to be able to sit here today and savor it. As we begin to bring this practice to a close, I invite you to, whenever you're ready, bring your attention back to the sensation of your body and the support of the chair or the earth underneath you. Just taking a few moments to connect again with your breath, the gentle rise and fall in each inhale and exhale. As I read this quote again from Thich Nhat Hanh, when we have a toothache, we know that not having a toothache is happiness. But later, when we don't have a toothache, we don't treasure our non-toothache. Practicing mindfulness helps us learn to appreciate the well-being that is already there. With mindfulness, we treasure our happiness and can make it last longer. The cessation of suffering, well-being, is available if you know how to enjoy the precious jewels you already have. You have eyes that can see, lungs that can breathe, legs that can walk, and lips that can smile. When you're suffering, look deeply at your situation and find the conditions for happiness that are already there, already available. And in your own time, whenever you're ready, I invite you to bring some gentle movements into your hands and feet or spine. And gently open your eyes and come back in the room.